Just before Christmas last year, I was banned from Twitter for a week for calling someone a dickhead. The tweet thread doesn't exist anymore, but basically I was arguing against the politically motivated screeching directed at the Prime Minister for his so-called lack of leadership on the Australian bushfires. I kept asking people what exactly the Prime Minister could do, especially since responsibility for combating fires rests at the state level. What did they want exactly? For Morrison to unleash the massive prime ministerial hose he has hidden away in the lodge? As I stated, this was politically motivated screeching by people still upset they didn't win the unlosable election, a key plank in which was action on climate change. Now, the point here is not the bushfires or climate change or politics for that matter, but the consequences of engaging in the outrage machine that is Twitter. Being unable to participate in petty bullshit on Twitter for 7 days led to a noticeable change in my mood. I felt a little calmer and a little more magnanimous. It's an unfortunate reality of platforms like Twitter that they don't bring out the best in people that disagree. More and more it serves as an outlet for outrage. I don't think I was wrong to call out the hysterical screeching against Morrison, and I'm not against the use of expletives. I couldn't stop doing that even if I wanted to, but perhaps I could have gone about it in a different way, or not engaged at all. But at least if you do, it's probably a good idea to refrain from the abuse. Now, why do I bring this up? Because my incident is relatively minor in comparison to what can happen if you start to live your life offline in the same way you do online. Meet David Leavitt. He describes himself as an award-winning multimedia journalist. He has 211,000 followers on Twitter and the coveted blue checkmark, which means he's important, or at least he seems to think that's what it means. On January the 18th, David saw fit to report this alarming incident to his hundreds of thousands of followers. This Target manager Tory is not honouring the price of their items per Massachusetts law. He followed that up with, I just had to call the police because Target refused to sell me the toothbrush. But out of respect for emergency services, David wanted us to know he didn't want to tie up valuable police resources. I did not call 911. I called the business number for the police and told them it was not an emergency and they could take their time and explain the situation. Well, I'm sure they were grateful. So what was all the fuss about? Well, thankfully, David provided us with some photos. Here's the display of an Oral-B Pro 5000 toothbrush, and the price says 1 cent. He also included an unflattering shot of the fascist store manager Tory that refused to sell him the toothbrush for 1 cent, and a copy of the relevant law. We'll see just how relevant it is in a minute. But first, what would you do if you saw this? My first thought would be, that has to be a mistake. And if there was a Target employee in the vicinity, I'd probably ask them. But that's not what the award-winning journalist David did. He insisted that he was entitled to the price displayed, and he told us that the police said he was right to do so. The police verified Target displayed the price of toothbrush for 1 cent. The store manager Tory refused to sell me the toothbrush for the displayed price. The police said I need to sue them and that they are making me a verified report to take to court, adding that corporations like Target are not above the law. The police officer told me they'd testify that they saw the price and that the manager wouldn't sell me the item for the price listed. Now, I don't know how David, the award-winning journalist, thought this would be a good idea, but he did. Although once the replies started flooding in, pointing out what a gigantic arsehole he was, the award-winning journalist went on the defensive. I've not been able to afford to go to the dentist in over 3 years, so yes, I wanted a good toothbrush and was thrilled to see such an amazing price on an Oral-B, but Target refused to honour it, and now I have to take them to court. Amazing price. Well, that's an amazing use of understatement for an award-winning journalist. And notice he has to take them to court because he has no choice in the matter, apparently. How about this? I wanted to take advantage of what was obviously a mistake, and because I'm a gigantic arsehole, I'm going to take them to court if they don't give me what I want. And despite the fact that I'm an award-winning journalist, I can't afford to go to the dentist or apparently pay the regular price for an Oral-B 5000 Pro toothbrush which at the time of this video is selling for $89.99 on Amazon. Now, as many people pointed out, David's award-winning journalism was clearly lacking in this case. You see, the price is for the display, not the item. As America Guy informs us, probably because the display is a spot on the shelf and has to have a tag on it because of the store's internal system. Another tweeter chimed in with this helpful information. Stores use mock-up displays. They have to label them, so they make them a penny. This is for inventory purposes, so they don't count it when they do inventory. And to top it all off, a lawyer chimed in to tell us that the law David, the award-winning journalist, cited doesn't apply when the discrepancy is a gross error, in that the lowest price, the display price of 1 cent in this case, is less than half of the checkout price, and the seller in the previous 30 days did not intend to sell the grocery item at the lowest price, and he helpfully provided a screenshot of the relevant law. Now, the good news is that most sensible people recognised this arse-hattery for what it was and started a GoFundMe to help send Tori on a vacation, raising almost $35,000. Apparently, she's going to take a vacation, but she's also going to donate the bulk of the proceeds to charity. So I guess the best way to describe the actions of David Leavitt, the award-winning journalist, is via one of his own tweets. So what's the lesson here? Obviously, don't be an arsehole. And I'm going to take my own advice here. I'm sure I'll stumble along the way, but I will try my best to be less of an arsehole, because as David Leavitt, the award-winning journalist, has demonstrated, there is no shortage of gaping arseholes in the world today. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.